You may know Yountville as a luxury destination for food and wine, but the town is also the legacy of George Yount, a soldier turned ranchero who was granted the land following the Mexican American War and the secession of California. The grant effectively made him the first settler in Napa Valley. When he died, he left a legacy as an honorable steward of the land who was kind to travelers and a friend of the native Wapo Indians. 2 years after he left this world, in 1865, the town of Sebastopol was renamed Yountville in his honor, which might be what brought him back. Yount had been a spiritual traveler in life. In 1847, as search parties were being organized to locate the Donner Party, Yount had a vision of their plight, including details of the group's location, which is reported to have led to their eventual rescue. He was already a traveler between two worlds, and in what seems a spiteful dare to the fates, his body was buried in an Indian burial mound at the north end of town. As his town developed in the mid-20th century, Yount might have decided to return to survey its progress. Word began to spread of a spectral figure which would walk through the vineyard adjacent to the graveyard and up a hill, turning as if to look over the blossoming little city, and doing so with such regularity that locals would gather in the evenings and frequently report that they had seen the phenomenon. Perhaps the spectators contributed to the energy of the spiritual bridge, as the specter was soon reported to carry a lantern, which then became a glowing green light. As benevolent as the departed Yount's intentions may have been, it soon began to appear as though something else had come through with him. Yount no longer appeared in the evening, though the green phantom light could often be seen following the same path up the hill and disappearing there, again and again, until something changed. Who's to say why that day was any different? The American spirit was uneasy in the late 1960s, and the wall between worlds may have grown thin with the grief of returning veterans and the prevalence of quality LSD. Whatever the case, the gathering at Yountville Cemetery was both large and rowdy that night. And as the sun grew low and the last ruddy rays shot defiantly through the grapevines, there in the vineyard appeared the phantom light. It was clear as could be, in no way translucent or foggy, a corporeal and undeniable thing floating 8 feet in the air. Spectators later reported a feeling of certain terror, as one might when trapped in a room in a house fire. Though many immediately regretted their evening's plans, they felt rooted to the spot. The thing climbed Yountville's northern hill without hesitation, rising above its peak where it floated, as if being nourished by the fear of the onlookers. A feeling of anger rose in the crowd, and some onlookers dared the thing to move. "Come on, do something. What are you, just going to sit there?" Again, the thing moved confidently, with little hesitation. It split into 2, then 4, then many green lights, cascading and dancing, frolicking manically down the hill, then back across the vineyard, multiplying and rising high in the air until the orbs became a great wave, a thing of wasted teeth and nails which rushed suddenly over the graveyard. Without exception, the crowd jumped into their cars and fled, as unable to stay as they were before to leave. The thing screeched an avian death knell, not warning, but inviting. Someday, maybe sooner than you think. Those looking through the rear windows saw the thing spread through the air, within it visions of an extraterrestrial realm, a final dare. And then a whirlwind, and the shrieking apparition funneled to a central point in the graveyard. The phantom lights have not been reported since, and the next day there was no evidence to indicate the point at which they may have burrowed into the ground. Whether it was a spirit of the Wapo or the European settlers whose bodies intermingle beneath the land, some discontent between the two, some greater unrest between forces unknowable, is no question for us who still tread the earth. Though as we reap the gifts of this valley, in her beauty and her wine, it behooves us to cast our thoughts more often to what we owe for those rewards, to whom it may be owed, and how we, as we still linger here, might begin to repay it.